for talking to me today. You've just become a member of the Real Talk Youth Impact Program. How did you learn about the program and why did you decide to become a member?
When I was speaking with my federal probation, federal parole, when I was speaking to my federal PO, she mentioned the program to me and said, first she asked me what my story was and kind of what my history was and my background was, and then she said, there's this program that is really working hard in the community to make a difference, and I think your story would definitely impact people. She was crying when she was telling me about it. She was like, your story is so powerful and attention to it, I want you to get involved.
What was the process of your being accepted into the program?
I met with the director, Cherie, and went over the rules and regulations, filled out some paperwork, and told her my background as well and my story as well. So, and then she got in touch with my PO to find out, to make sure I don't have any, we can only do certain kind of things in our background because we're dealing with kids. So
tell us a little bit about that background. What was going on with your life when you weren't making the best decisions? Kind of take us down that road so we can understand what led to your becoming a member of the program.
For me, my personal story started out with I was in a two-parent environment, went to private schools, had a good foundation to make it in life, and had some personal tragedies happen with some other members of my family, and I got into some abusive relationships, or abusive relationship. That's really what changed my life. And through that abusive relationships, I started using drugs. I had never been in trouble until my first arrest was I was 28 years old, so I actually was an insurance agent and had a really wonderful life before I got into an abusive relationship, and things just really went downhill from there. My self-esteem, my self-worth, and the direction that I was taking.
Okay, what was that defining moment? What was the turning point where you said, I have to do something different with my life? What was that epiphany for you when you realized that you needed to make a change?
Going to federal prison. There was nothing more dramatic in my life. I've been in trouble a couple of times before. I kind of just got a slap on the wrist with probation here and there. And I said they should have sent me to prison a long time ago, because that definitely was a jarring experience for me, and I don't ever want to experience it again.
If you had to define that incarceration experience for someone that you're trying to mentor to not go down that road, how do you describe that?
If somebody's ever been around any kind of abuse, like say physical abuse, or you saw somebody doing drugs, maybe you witnessed someone doing drugs with a needle and you just feel icky, like, or you see somebody getting hit and you just, it's really, I don't know how to use the word to explain it, but just a really uncomfortable feeling that goes across your skin. That's how prison was. You have no control over your life. You're told everything to do. You're belittled and you're alone, and you just feel sick, literally physically ill, and it's a struggle mentally and physically to get through that process.
What message are you trying to relay to the youth when you're speaking with them?
Definitely a message of hope that if you are in a situation that there is another side of it, you have to get through the end of the process, whatever your personal process is, but that you're not alone. It definitely is a program where we're talking about real life stories that have happened and real life success stories. You don't have to be, a moment that you're going through doesn't have to be defining for your whole life. It's just a moment that you're going through in a situation you're going through.
What advice would you give to someone who's gone down that road, experienced incarceration, to get their life back together and on the right track?
Again, that you're not defined by that moment that you made a mistake, that you are the author of your story, and that can change at any point. When you make that decision, my mom told me a long time ago, she's like, you're so successful and you're so smart, and there's so many things that you have available to you. You've just not made that decision to make them happen. And when you decide to be a success, you will. And coming out of prison, I decided I was not going to be, there's no hiccups along the way. It's all or none. So it's very black and white. You're either going to be a success or you're going to accept less. And sometimes we do fail. Everybody does fail, but that doesn't mean that you're a failure.
So what's changed in your life now? What's positive that's going on in your life?
I do a lot of volunteer work, especially in this program. I definitely feel I wasn't always in my kids' lives, and they were still always taken care of. And so I believe in that pay it forward situation where somebody took care of my kids, and I want to be a positive impact in somebody else's kids' life too. Maybe their parents are struggling, and hopefully our program can give them help too as well, to give them some positive reinforcement that just because they're struggling doesn't mean they're a failure as a parent.
That's very good advice. One of the requirements to be a volunteer member is a $50 annual fee that you pay to the program. Why is that fee paid, and what does that mean in terms of commitment?
The fee is paid because bottom line, our program needs funding a lot more than just the $50. But if we're not going to put, it's kind of, there's a saying called the skin in the game. If you're not going to put your skin in the game, then why is anybody else going to do it? So if we're not believing in our program and willing to put our money, $50 is really, they can charge us $50 a month. I mean, we're all to a point in our life where we've made some decisions and we could include it, our phone bills are $50 a month, and we manage to pay that every month. So it definitely is having some skin in the game and having some responsibility and making sure that we're showing a good example to others, that we're not just about talk, we're about action.
Absolutely. Colette, I want to thank you for your time today. I really appreciate your coming and speaking with me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.